welcome everybody to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network. And I tell you, we've got a full room tonight. We got a whole lot of people listening from around the world. We appreciate each and every one. And if you're not over here in the chat room with us, you can do so by going to para-x.com and click on live chat, top of the page. It will put you right in with all these wonderful people who are paranormal like-minded, and you'll be able to interact with us by asking questions and of the guests. And you should have a lot of questions tonight because we got a couple of real good guests on. If you really want to, you can also call in at 513-988-8055. So with that, we have I guess Craig, we got you with us tonight. And
I am here. Welcome, everyone.
And we got Jeffrey with us.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're not all snowbound.
Yeah, there is a lot that is snowbound. That is true. But a lot of our snow's kind of gone away, but they're calling for more about Tuesday, I think, something like that. So
we just got about 4 inches today.
My local temperature went down to 66 degrees, so, come on.
You poor thing.
Are you by the pool, Jeffrey?
I haven't been in a pool in so long. I'm going to be in a pool in a few weeks, but not today.
Anyway, with that, we have a group on tonight called Southern Ohio Apparition Research, or known as SOAR. They're a pretty good sized group. They're to the I hear a little feedback. They're to the southeast of Cincinnati. Well, I guess just east of Cincinnati. Can't be too far south. But they're a pretty good sized group and been in a lot of things. We're going to find out all about them and what's been going on. Tonight we have with us it's Nick Sakelos and Matt Hoskins. Welcome, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome.
Howdy.
Welcome, yes.
So what I would like to do is, Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and how you got started with SOAR?
Well, a group of us were working together. Are we getting feedback? Excuse me.
No, you're okay.
Okay, good. There was a group of us working together at a background check company. And it was our day job. And we all found that we had similar interests when it came to historical research and paranormal research. And from that, we founded the actual group. So that was about 5 years ago. We each came to it with a different kind of perspective, though. So some of us more strong in the historical aspect, some of us more strong in the kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say the it's more of the what would you say Belinda is, Matt? More of the
boss type? Oh no, more into the straight investigation. Some of us do a lot more historical research, background checks. We actually seem to segment into groups in the organization that each have a specific function that works a lot better than us just trying to do everything by ourselves.
Well, the word I was looking for was black arts, but I want to say black arts in relation to Melinda. That's not a true statement, but she has more knowledge on that side more of the occult side of things, and I come to it with more of the scientific perspective. My entire upbringing and schooling was in the scientific fields, biology and psychology and neuroscience, etc. And so with those different disciplines and perspectives, it made for an interesting start for the group. And it spawned from there. So bringing on people with tech experience and people with photographic experience and people with sound recording experiences. And so it was an interesting mix of interesting mixable that made for a nice paranormal group.
Matt, how did you manage to get started into SOAR?
Actually, this has kind of been a lifelong obsession of mine. I remember when I was in 6th grade for show and tell, I brought in a book on UFOs. I I've always been interested in this, and then when I was in my early 20s, I started getting involved in groups, and I worked in a local Cincinnati group. It was actually the oldest group in Southern Ohio, and I trained with them for several years. The founder of that group actually retired, and out of respect, the group ceased being. I was fortunate enough to go to SOAR, which is the other really great group in the area, and they were happy to have me. I'm happy to have them, and my degree is in public relations, so what I'm trying to do with the group is work more with clients and dealing with clients and their peace of minds, as well as promoting public events and doing things like the radio shows and stuff like that. That's kind of my area of expertise.
So you guys do all sorts. You do spirits, you do UFOs. Am I correct on that?
No, our main function is the paranormal as it relates to ghosts or spirits or entities, or whatever you would like to call them. We do mild research into cryptozoology and ufology and stuff like that, but it's almost more of a hobby. We don't actively pursue cases such as UFOs and stuff like that. I think what keeps us busy, our bread and butter, is definitely the ghosts.
There's plenty of them out there.
Yes, there seems to be around every corner, don't they? Before we jump into some more questions here, I do want to thank everybody that's listening tonight. We do have people listening from the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, and South Africa.
Wow.
So, thanks everybody for listening. Welcome tonight.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. We usually end up with 3 or 4 from different countries, seems like every weekend, so that is excellent. I tell you, Melinda Smith was the founder of SOAR, and I guess she's under the weather. Is that correct?
Well, she doesn't always do all the shows, and yeah, she's just about a bunch of stuff. So she pops in the chat room and says hi, but that's kind of our function, is to do some of these shows, and yeah, I guess she's a little under the weather, so we're happy to do it.
Well, that's great. How long has SOAR been around?
We've been around since 2005. It actually makes us the oldest established paranormal group in the Southern Ohio area. But like I think I can speak for everyone in the group that the interest and the passion in it goes back much further.
How many people do you have in the group?
What's the final count we have, Nick?
Oh, I think we're 9 right now.
Yeah, we're at about 9. Yeah, that sounds about right.
It sounds about right. You also do conventions, because I know that you've done a couple that I've been to. You guys were at the music hall this past summer, and then you was at Miami Town Fall Fest.
Oh, we love the Miami Town Fall Fest. Mike and Jeff, the guys who run that, are very good friends of the group. In fact, the group I was in for this included Mike and Jeff, so we're always happy whenever they put together an event, and we're always happy to support them with that. They also do a walking historical ghost tour, which I help out with as well, so that's always a good time. But yeah, we try and do as many public events as possible within reason, because it's a great way to get your name out there.
Jeff, you got some questions?
Now, have you ever, I don't know if there's any kind of haunting there, but the last time I was in Ohio, I had some awesome hiking at the Nelson Ledges. Do you know about those? In Ohio?
I haven't really heard a lot of good stories out of there. So I would unfortunately say I'm not very familiar with that area.
Well, it's a park near Hiram, Ohio. It's like a huge block of rock that has been carved out by rivers millions of years ago. And although there's still, some waterfalls and streams, people do rappelling, and it's like, and you can jump over these crevasses. It's incredible.
Oh, I'm sure. Quite honestly, I'm not even sure where Hiram, Ohio is. There's so many of those little towns.
That's where Hiram College is.
It's where
Exactly.
College
That's
is.
why I
See,
was
there you go.
Believe it or not, I've not heard of Hiram College.
Henry.
I was just thinking the same thing, but you know,
uh, oh, that's pretty good, Jeff.
Fine.
Oh, well. Let's see. What are some of the cases that each one of you guys have been on with SOAR?
Nick, I'll let you go first on that.
Well, you mean some or all? I mean, there's so many different ones.
Well,
there's
just some of them. You've probably been with SOAR a lot longer than Matt has. So
actually since the beginning, yes.
yeah.
And I mean, we're currently numbering around 65 to 70 investigations. So over that amount of time, which is about right for a group our size and for a group that, we have day jobs and we have to squeeze them in the weekends and all that kind of stuff. And of course, the time it takes to finalize investigations and go over evidence, et cetera. I mean, anybody who runs a group knows how much time and effort goes into it. But the investigations that we do, we try to stay central to our area, although we have gone as far east as Zanesville, Ohio, over to Prospect Place. We've gone as far north as Toledo, Ohio, and the Mansfield Reformatory. As far south, not too far south yet, so a little bit in Kentucky, of course down to Louisville. And have we done it? And for Indiana, we ventured into Indiana for a couple cemeteries there, and I don't think we've done any buildings there yet. So most of the investigations, though, are residential homes, people who are having hauntings and have concerns of those hauntings. So some people want those ghosts out of there, and some people don't. So we have to do some exterminating work, and it varies from case to case, of course. So some of our favorite ones are Prospect Place in Zanesville, Dresden, Ohio. We love Snow Hill Country Club, which is near where we are in Central Ohio. Highly recommend Snow Hill Country Club.
And we're going to talk about some of those places a little later on, find out what you guys has found out through them and how active they are. So, Matt, since you're fairly new, which is some of the ones that you got a chance to go with them on?
Well, I'll tell you, some of my absolute favorite places are unfortunately public residences. That some of the best things that have happened there. With SOAR, I didn't go to. I've been to Snow Hill Country Club with them, but I have been there on my own. It's a very great place. It's again highly recommended. But I think some of the great EVPs and that we've captured from private residences. But I'd say my favorite place with SOAR so far would probably be the Ross Scouting Museum down in New Richmond, Ohio, which is actually where we're based out of. And it's a very old home. Now it's a historical site, and we've gotten some great EVPs out of there. And we actually do public ghost hunts for the benefit of the Historical Society in New Richmond out of that house, where small groups of people come in, they get to hunt with us and do EVP sessions and all that, and it's a lot of fun times.
Well, now you guys normally over there in New Richmond have a small, almost like a convention every year, but you didn't have one this year, did you?
We had kind of a abortive Halloween party that we were trying to have as a get-together for Meet the Public. It went off well. There were a couple of hitches where it didn't go off quite as well as we wanted, but yeah, it's a fun time down there. We do some ghost walks down there, and yeah, we're very grateful for everything they've done for us, and we're glad to give back to the community there.
Just want to let everybody know, if you have questions, private chat them to me, Craig, or Jeff, and we will get them right over and ask the guests. So please feel free to do that.
I know one of the great things about this group, and the thing I've really enjoyed since going there, is that we do have differing opinions. I mean, me and Nick have, philosophical slug outs sometimes on our differences on paranormal theory, and it's really great to have a group where you can kind of talk out, okay, what do we believe? Do we believe this works that way and this works that way? Because, this isn't an emerging science, and it is something to be up for discussion. It's great to have a group you can discuss with.
I have a question from the chat room.
All right.
Soup wants to know if you guys have ever done any Civil War hunts, like battlefields, etc.
We did. I'll let Nick talk a little bit about this, but the first case I was actually ever on was a private residence, but the property in the field around it was related to the Civil War. Nick would know more about that. What was that case?
You have to refresh my memory on that one, Matt.
The first case I ever came out with down in Kentucky, I believe.
Oh yeah.
It's the Civil War battle. Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Let's see, what can I tell you about that one? They were the complaints at the home were that the cabinet doors in the kitchen were opening and closing, and that they were seeing shadows in the back rooms, etc. But there's also there's also been reports of people being seen out in the fields. And so upon doing investigation or research into the history of the place, it turns out that there was an old tavern sitting on that property. That tavern was part of the scene of a clash between the North and the South, and that battle raged on. I don't know how long exactly, but there are folks who say they saw residual events happening on the hillsides. It really was quite dramatic when you go down and see these hillsides, these rolling hills in Kentucky. I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
When you see these rolling hills in Kentucky, and you could just imagine, it was really easy to imagine seeing these different armed forces coming across these hills and doing battles down these valleys and these woods and crossing these creeks. It was a very dramatic setting and had a really interesting history. We didn't encounter any opening and closing of cabinets or bedroom doors, but I think we did get a couple EVPs out of there. So, but it seems the haunting in the house might have been more related to a passing of a family member more than it was the Civil War soldiers.
So what kind of EVPs did you get? Sorry.
Memory escapes me on that one. I can't remember off the top of my head, but as I said, the EVPs were related to the family, not to the Civil War events.
I have a question from the chat room. Beyonder Karen would like to know, what type of investigations do you guys like the most?
Type as in, if they're talking about locations. Personally, for me, I find the personal residence is great because it really gives you a chance to not only go in there and hunt, but really work with the clients, calm them down, give them peace of mind, which is ultimately what I'm in here for. But I'm sure it's the type.
Great. Which is probably good. Nick, what kind of, do you like residences or locations better?
Honestly, I like residences better, and I guess the reason being that it really, when you walk into a residence, you really are having to deal with the multifacetedness of ghost hunting, which is, you have to assess all the variables at play within a home. So, because as we like to say, is it a haunted place or is it a haunted person you're dealing with? And so many times, it turns out to be a haunted person, but having to separate that out and somehow come to terms with that and do the analysis of that within the first 5 or 15 minutes of entering a home are crucial to the investigation. And so I think it's just really fascinating when you get into houses and you're dealing with their actual residents to go through that process, that very analytical process of saying, okay, well, who and what are we really dealing with, and what variables are at play? And that's what makes it more interesting. I think in public settings or in outdoor settings, you don't really have those extra layers of variables you're dealing with as you do in a residence.
Right, and I would just like to say, when you're dealing with outdoor settings, from a scientific standpoint, there's so many other variables and factors. It's really hard to eliminate them, and it makes EVP sessions and other things very hard to work through. But Nick's completely right in the personal residences. We do many cases where it's either not haunted or we don't get anything. But the one thing I really like about Nick is he does get to the root of the matter. a lot of times there may be underlying psychological issues or family issues or personal issues that are exasperating normal things that are leading these people to believe that they may have a spirit in their home, and kind of getting to the root of that and sometimes just working through that with people is enough to solve the problem, if you will. And that's kind of a great thing.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Henry.
I got one here from Charlie Gordon. And he wanted to know, can shadow people follow someone, and can they harm someone?
Well, I'll give my opinion. Nick may have a little differing opinion.
Yeah, we differ.
We do differ on this one. We differ on many things. But
because one of you actually had a shadow person to follow and the other didn't, or wait.
Well, I can't speak for Nick, but I've yet to really get reliable evidence of a shadow person or a spirit or entity following someone home. I've heard stories, but that's it. That's all it is, stories that, oh yeah, this happened. I've been on well over, probably coming up to 200 cases. I've never had anything follow me home. I've never had anything threaten me, intimidate me. I've never felt frightened. I've never felt in danger. I know one of my absolute best friends in this field, Joy Naylor, who's been at this for 20 plus years, says the same thing, that nothing's ever followed her home, nothing's ever hurt her, nothing's ever threatened her. And that's just kind of from my experience that I feel like it doesn't happen. But I think Nick has a slightly different opinion.
Yeah, I do have a different opinion. My opinion is that, and this becomes a longer answer at this point, I don't want to go off on a huge tangent, but
We don't mind huge tangents.
Yep.
okay. All right, then here we go.
Go ahead.
Okay, here we go. So we're all in this field for one reason, and the reason is that the stories have been passed down from generation to generation that ghosts seem to exist. And the truth is that I don't know any one of us who can't go to a cocktail party and not have to listen to at least 5 stories before we leave the room, or anywhere else we go for that matter, right?
It happened at my dentist's office the other day. I'm sitting
Exactly.
there, getting my teeth worked on. They're like, "Do you know this building's haunted?" I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And so the point I'm making is that these anecdotes have been going on for so many years now. I mean, literally century, millennia, if you will. And it's what brings us out into the field every weekend or every weekend that we go out, and with the belief that there's something out there. So if we believe in the anecdotal evidence, then we have to believe in a lot of the anecdotal evidence, but not all of it. And some of the anecdotal evidence is that spirits do follow you from place to place, or can follow you from place to place. Now, as far as personal experiences go, I can tell you that we have at least one group member who did visit a local cemetery, and she does claim that when she got back home, strange things started occurring in the home after her visit to that cemetery. So there's that's a 1 degree separation from somebody who has that anecdotal story from a fairly credible witness or a fairly credible person having that experience. So where does that leave us? Does it leave us with the belief that it's not going to happen? No, I have to believe that from the stories I've heard other stories as well from many people, that they do have spirits that move from place to place, that they're not locked down to a single location, and so that's all. That's what I'm going to say. So that's my answer.
Well, and I guess I should put this out there that I am very, very, very skeptical about all this. I do believe in spirits. I believe I have seen one. I believe I have heard them, but I'm more of a show me person, and it takes quite a lot to convince me of. I guess I do have preconceived biases, you could call it, on what can and can't happen. And until I've seen something that changes my mind, I tend to be stubbornly stick to that.
Well, I got a couple of questions from Joe from Visions Magazine. He's just full of questions tonight.
We love Visions Magazine.
Yeah. He wanted to know what professional background or education aids you guys in paranormal investigations.
Well, I would say for me personally, like I said, my degree is in public relations, which is what I do for the group. again, the speaking, the public events and whatnot. That's how I help. The paranormal aspect is basically, like I said, I was trained by a woman who'd been in the field for 20 years. I've been doing this for many years myself. Unfortunately, that's the best paranormal creds I can claim. But I know other members of our group have different professional leanings towards things like historical research and client management, and we try, since there's no university for paranormal studies necessarily, we all kind of take the skills we have in our professional lives and kind of point them or train them towards the paranormal field. I know Nick has some skills. I'll let him talk about that.
Well, it's a tricky question. I mean, my first answer to the question is the generalized field of critical thinking. I mean, critical thinking is what would probably make one most successful in the field, but that's not the only thing it takes to be successful in this industry. So that's why having a group almost becomes a necessity. There's so many different aspects of having a ghost hunting club. Just a club itself has to be managed, and then the relationships with the community that has to occur, and then the case management and everything. So there's all these different aspects, but just for the strict ghost hunting itself, critical thinking is what it comes down to. I mean, I have a scientific background, like, as I mentioned earlier, and having the scientific mind is useful, but it's not the be-all, end-all of ghost hunting. And I'm currently in conversations with some folks who are more interested in the psychic aspect of ghost hunting and think that might play a major role in the success of a ghost hunting club. And so we're in the middle of debating that back and forth and having ongoing conversations about it, because we to this day don't have a methodology that works 100% every time, so to produce results. So how do I answer the question beyond that? I don't know how to answer the question beyond that.
And see, you've got then people like me in the group who I'm not so keen on the psychics. I would not go so far as to call myself a non-believer, but I'm certainly not impressed. Whereas people like Nick might have a more open mind about that. And that's kind of the great thing about our group is we do kind of keep each other in check with what we believe, and the great thing about having a club is no one person can decide what is and isn't evidence.
We have got a lot of people here in the chat room tonight, and I mean, it is just whizzing right on by. So if you do have questions, make sure you send them in a private chat to Craig, Jeff, or myself, because we'll not pick them up trying to read. I can't read and think at the same time, so that makes it too hard for me. So
I have a question from Joe. Are we going to break?
Are we going to break? That's Joe's question.
That's up to you, Henry. No. Joe wants to know, at the end of the day, what conclusions have you come away with after an investigation? That's Joe from Visions.
Well, it depends on the investigation. Each one is different. The conclusion I've ultimately come away from all of this work that I've had in the field is that ghosts are real, that spirits are real, and that the world is larger than I thought it was just a few years ago. And, it excites me. It makes me want to get more into this. I mean, I can tell you right now that, I'm 28 years old, and I will be doing something like this or be involved in this for the rest of my life. And I think that's pretty cool. That's what I've taken away from it. I don't know about you, Nick.
It's a tricky question for me as well. I mean, as Matt said, each investigation is different. In the end, we keep going back for more. Why do we keep going back for more? Because it's tantalizing. It's a tantalizing reality that there might be something there each time that takes us back each time. And all it takes is one Class A or Class B EVP to get us excited, to get our blood going, and to make us come back and do it again. So.
Right, exactly. We will have case after case where nothing happens, but man, you get that one really great EVP, it's back. You're back in the game.
But I mean, to answer the question more fully, unless you want to go to break, I mean, I could talk about it for hours, but
go ahead. We got time.
I mean, ghost hunting has been around, I mean, in a formalized state for about 125 or 150 years now, and a lot of us in the field don't even know the true history of the ghost hunting field as it stretches from Europe to America. And not having that knowledge, I think, is unfortunate. I think more people should look into it. And I think all the different work and experiments that have occurred over that amount of time should be learned by most groups so that they have that perspective, the perspective of, and the benefit even, of all that research and all those findings. Now, early on, of course, it's like I said, this becomes a long conversation, but so it's hard for me to gather my thoughts and keep them clear for you. But because there's so many different aspects of it. But in the end, it wouldn't have survived for 150 years if there wasn't something to it. And there are some very, very impressive studies and experiments that were done under controlled conditions that make it very compelling. The whole topic becomes very compelling if you look into the historical evidence. If you want to take time to really read about it, then I encourage everybody to go to Victor Zamet's website and read about it, because Victor Zamet is the lawyer who argues the case for the afterlife. And some people kind of poo-poo Victor, but in the end, at least we can say one thing about Victor. He was very thorough in his research and his writings, and he gives an incredible historical perspective with all the details and all the references necessary to spend the rest of your life studying and learning just what happened in the last 150 years, let alone what's going to happen from this point forward as we further the scientific aspects of ghost hunting with more technology, et cetera.
Okie doke. I think what we're going to do, since we have a little bit of break here, is we're going to go ahead and take a break. It's going to be probably about 6-7 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood. Won't be exact. But I want to let everybody know later on in the show we will be playing, I think I got about 3 EVPs. It's 3 or 4, something like that's what Matt sent me. So if you got a headset and things like that, get them ready. It won't be until later on in the show, sometime in the second hour. So I've already listened to them. They're pretty good EVPs. You should be able to hear them fairly easy. But it always helps if you do have a headset. It'll sound a whole lot better. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a little bit, so I want you to stay tuned. You're listening to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network, and we'll be right back in just a little bit.
Don't go away. The Paranormal View will be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network. I want to thank all you listeners for listening, being here tonight. If you're listening from around the world and you're not here in the chat room, you can do so. You can come over to para-x.com. Click on live chat, top of the page. It'll put you right in the chat room with all these wonderful people. And then you'll be able to interact with us, send us questions by private chat to Craig, Jeff, or myself for the guests. And if you are brave, I guess, you could call 513-988-8055. And we are inviting everybody to go to theparanormalview.com. That's our website. And you can, there's a big fan there. If you want to be a fan of the Paranormal View, click on that. Tell us why you like it or why you don't like it or what you'd like to see different. And we will be picking from time to time people to be Fan of the Week. Now, you can also listen to our podcast from there. We do podcasts every week. And if you go to the top of the page, you'll see On Demand. You can go there and also listen to our podcast too. So with that, tonight we do have Matt Hoskins and Nick Sakelos with us from SOAR, and we're going to continue with questions with them because I'm sure, have quite a few. I know you guys.
We love questions.
Yeah.
I love questions.
Well, Kat in the chat room wants to know how do Uber skeptics explain away EVPs when it's clear that no living person made the sound?
Well, and here's, I'm not agreeing with this, but some of them would say is that basically your recording devices, especially digital devices, are picking up stray radio transmissions that are popping in and out and landing in there. Again, I think that's ludicrous, but that's how they would explain it.
It's always funny in my point of view is how it can always, when it does that, it would be specific answer to a question.
Exactly.
I don't know how you get radio stations to do that.
What are the odds that you're going to get Gary Burbank to exactly answer one of your questions at the exact moment you answer it? It's a stretch of the imagination, at least.
True.
Now, of course, sometimes it may sound like a reply when it may or may not be. The only EVP I ever got on the Queen Mary sounds like the EVP is replying to a statement being made by someone who was there, but out of context, it could just sound like 3 words.
Exactly, but we certainly have had EVPs where we think it might work, but I've also had EVPs where it's very clearly a dead answer. In fact, the hall where we had the Miami Town Paranormal Fest, which you were at, we investigated there, and we were using a K2 at the time to gauge yes or no responses. And it was funny because it would only work with females. And basically whenever myself or Jeff or Mike would enter the room, the K2 would go completely quiet. But so anyways, we're trying to get information on whatever this could be. And you hear on the recorders when we ask them, my name is Eve. Now I wish I had that many, but Mike and Jeff have that. But everyone who's ever listened to it has said, that's what it says, my name is Eve. And it would just be really weird to have picked up a stray radio transmission that picked up that exact sentence at that exact time we asked the question, what is your name?
True. And I've also gotten some where, like I've asked a question of what's your name and not actually get a response by word saying something, but I caught footsteps walking around the room and I'm the only one there. So I don't think you get that over the radio station.
It's funny, I was in a firehouse in Ohio, and we actually have this on video where you could hear on the EVP footsteps walking around, almost around in a circle around the investigator, but the footsteps sounded weird. What we did is we broke out the fireman's boots with the rubber-soled shoes on the concrete, and it sounded exactly the same.
It's funny how it ends up like that. And I mean, yeah, skeptics can say things, but when you pick up something that can't be from the radio, then they got to come up with something else.
And I don't even want to discredit skeptics because they work hard and I think they have some valid points, but I disagree with them on the EVP factor.
True. With that, I want to ask each one of you, what or where was your favorite site that you've investigated?
Nick, I'll let you go first since I've been talking my mouth off.
That's fine. I'm torn between Snow Hill Country Club and Prospect Place. I guess I'll choose Prospect Place. I think Prospect Place was interesting for me personally because it was the location of my first EVP. My EVP was, and I haven't really answered the question to the person from the chat room. Maybe I'll do it later. But that EVP was in the basement of Prospect Place, and I had been asking questions for 45 minutes with no response, and finally I just kind of gave up and said, well, I said, well, is that it? Nothing to say? You're not going to do anything? And finally an EVP comes through, and it's a whisper, but my interpretation of it is that they said, we can't because we're dead. So I've always found it my my favorite one. And then it's also in that location that we had two disembodied voices answer directly to Melinda. She'd asked them to close the door, and the disembodied voice very clearly said no. And then when she finally, a few seconds later, said, "Really, no, close the door," and it said again, "No," in direct response. So, interesting place all around. A lot of good history, a lot of good, interesting information. I mean, it's just a cool place all around. So,
Well, I had a private residence in Middletown, which I believe I saw my first and only full-fledged apparition. And although I screamed like a girl, I'm very proud that I actually tried to chase it into the room. But my favorite public place of all time would actually be Habit's Cafe on Madison Road in Oakley, which is right outside Cincinnati. And it used to be an old bootlegging liquor place in the 20s, 30s. And we were in the basement, and I asked, "Did you own this place?" And you can hear back later on the EVP, right on the recorder, a woman clearly say, "Oh, not this place."
Didn't own this place, huh?
And there was just such disdain, like, "Oh, not this place."
I've got a question from Joe, Visions Magazine.
All right.
Joe would like to know if you guys believe that your captured EVPs are interactive or residual, like an echo.
I would say most of the ones I've caught are interactive. I believe it's our questions themselves that spur a response, and by that very definition, they are interactive. I do think there's been a couple of weird noises or sounds that could very well be residual, but I think the vast majority of EVPs are a response to things you have already said or to things you are doing. We've had EVPs where people have commented on what we're doing, and even that right there is interactive.
Yeah, everybody's saying that it's sound tonight skipping. I'll let everybody know, a lot of times Skype does this on a Saturday night when it's so full. Plus, we do have a full room of people tonight.
And that's just in the chat room. And you say there are more than are in the chat room? The chat room is massively filled up tonight.
Oh, it is. It is. But the chat room itself wouldn't be what was causing it to skip. It would be from us on Skype. We've got 5 people in here tonight. So sometimes it taxes Skype a little bit, and it'll cause that. Or it could also be their connections. A lot of different things like that goes into it. So you just have to bear with us and hope that it works itself out a little bit later. So let's see. Go ahead.
I have a question to Matt and Nick. The Mansfield Reformatory, is it all that it's cracked up to be?
Yes, absolutely. I'd say go there.
It is? Okay.
I'd say it's worth it. Now, obviously, I am very disdainful of places that charge you to stay and have paranormal experiences. Maybe I'm disdainful because I do it so often for free. I don't want to then pay for it. But for what they charge and the location, I think it's a great place. And hey, I'm a fan of the Shawshank Redemption, so it's just kind of cool to, to be there because you can see some of Morgan Freeman's graffiti on the walls. But I've had some great experiences there. So in terms of if you're going to spend money to go someplace, I think that's a great place as opposed to somewhere like Waverly, which is great. Don't let me sound like I'm knocking Waverly, but they're going to charge you an arm and a leg for the same type of treatment you'll get for a lot less at Mansfield. But yeah, I say it's definitely worth the trip.
Sounds like a road trip.
Now, I was coming back from Patsy's sister up in Cleveland, and we stopped there just so I could look at Mansfield from the outside, and that is a scary looking place from the outside.
Oh, it's scarier on the inside at 3 in the morning, my friend.
Hey, one of our EVPs is from there. You should play it.
Which one was that one?
It's the one that says "Get killed just like me."
I don't think you sent that one to me.
I'll play it if you like.
I don't know if you play it that they can hear it.
We can try.
You can try it though. If you've
Hang
got
on.
it, go ahead. Listen real close.
Okay, I'm going to try it.
Go ahead.
Actually, I wouldn't even worry about it. I'm going to forward you that EVP right now. Apparently, I thought I forwarded it to you, but it's
Let me try it. I'll try it real quick.
Go ahead and try it.
I'm playing it. Are you hearing it?
Very low.
Okay, you'll have to do it then.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll have to do it then.
Send it to me.
All right, it just hit your inbox.
Okay. I'll do that then.
So we're actually at the cemetery. We're actually at the prison at that point. We're actually by the cell that the TAPS team had marked with an X for those who saw that show and remember it. And so we're talking about it, and then you'll hear a voice say, well, I don't want to taint it for you, but you'll hear it.
Yeah, we prefer when we're playing EVPs, excuse me, not to try and say what we think it is, because it gives people a chance to form their own opinion. Sounds like you got it.
I just did, yeah. I also have another question.
Sure.
While we're doing that, another one from, while I'm getting this ready, from Joe. He wants to know what your impressions or experiences are with ghost boxes.
Nick, you want to take that?
Yeah, I guess I should. We haven't used them. Well, I take that back. We did do one investigation using a white noise box. It produced 0 results. After watching all the TV shows, and I do watch them all, I'm not convinced to this day. I'm a little too concerned about. I mean, there are some people who have had success with it. They do seem to have voices come through on top of the white noise. But my concern is that it is a little bit too much relying on the, or it's too much open to the auditory matrixing issue, and it's too open to the possibility of receiving true radio signals coming through. So,
right. And if you look at things like the Frank's box, first of all, if you go to buy a professional, quote, air quotes, professional Frank's box, at the bottom of the website and at the bottom of the box will say for end purposes only, which I'm not a fan of. But what it does is it cycles through radio waves. So we're talking earlier about skeptics saying, well, you're getting radio waves into that. Well, yeah, that's what Frank's box does, is it's cycling through radio stations. So, yeah, it's not productive, I don't believe, and I don't think it adds anything to EVP sessions, and I think it very well can actually taint them.
Well, before we poo-poo it completely, though, I'm going to bring everybody back to the historical perspective again, and that is that this is in the field of ITC. You know, and ITC has been researched very well over the last 75 years, and I mean, there is something to it. Meaning, there is something to the concept of having maybe not white noise, maybe that's not the right way to do it, but maybe static of some kind. I mean, I argue this with another one of our tech members, and I mean, in our opinion, it would almost be more interesting if you would hold it static to a particular station between the stations and let it just sit there instead of letting it run up and down the scale. But there seems to be maybe something of the phenomena that in static noise or in electronic noise, whether it's visual, like static screen on a TV screen, or static noise through the radio, might actually somehow facilitate the other side talking to us. So I don't want to poo-poo completely.
Yeah, but I would also say that in the same thing, what I like to do when I'm presenting to client is I like to present an EVP in its raw form. I don't like to manipulate or enhance it in any way, shape, or form. It just makes it that much better, more powerful for the client. And ghost boxes sometimes are nothing but manipulation.
Okay, I've got this EVP we're going to play from Mansfield. So put your headsets on and turn your sound up and see if you can hear what it says here. Here we go.
Yeah, so this is the actual one that they had on TV. Okay.
That was very quick, but you can hear it. Get killed
At the
just
end.
like me right at the end. Yes. I'll play it one more time so you can listen for it again. It's right toward the end.
Yeah, so this is the actual one that they had on TV. Yes.
Very good. You could definitely hear that.
And that's, I think that's what completely drives us, is when you hear something like that and you hear it and you just go, wow. I mean, serious skeptics are always going to poo-poo it, but I hear that and I know I'm in the right job.
Yeah. It's great when you can get something like that. Now, a lot of people, they get these things that you can't really understand what it says now. Oh, I think it says this, or I think it says that. If you're trying to think and guess what it is, then you don't really have anything. It's when it's something that's clear that you can actually hear, and you don't have to try and say what it is.
Right, and that's where you start in with the manipulation and the enhancement of audio effects, because people only think it maybe says this or that or this or that, and that's when it just starts to get muddled. And I took audio engineering for a while during my first tour of college, and I can make a static say almost anything I want it to. So that's why when you present an EVP like that, which is raw, it just has that much more impact.
Yeah, that's the way I usually do most all mine. Is just the way that I catch it. I don't try to do anything to it. So,
Exactly.
I tell you, I believe another question. I got a question here from Karen. And she wanted to know what cemeteries in Indiana did you go to?
I'm going to let them answer that because I'm not a fan of cemeteries.
Well, unfortunately, it was a girls-only event, so we didn't get to go. And the reason it was a girls-only event was because they were going to go to the cemetery where James Dean was buried. So if anybody knows which one that is.
I don't know, but...
Melinda's in the chat room. She'll have to put it up on the screen.
She'd probably know. Yeah, she can do that. And Karen also wanted to know if they got anything while they was there.
Okay. And they actually went to 2 cemeteries. I couldn't tell you what the second one was, but I know they went to that one in particular. So.
It was kind of, a girls' night out trip for the group. The women in the group, anyways.
The women in the group, huh?
I don't think they got anything, no.
No, I don't think they did.
No.
I asked you what... go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, something I wanted to say before we ended that question about EVPs is, I believe EVPs are the best evidence you're going to get of paranormal phenomenon. I really don't hold highly with photographic video evidence. I certainly don't hold with orbs at all. I think EVPs are some of the single most conclusive evidence you're going to get.
Karen said that he is in Fairlawn Cemetery.
Oh, yeah, John Dillinger's there as well, Melinda said.
Yeah.
This is James Dean, you say, right?
Yeah, and John Dillinger both.
Yeah, because I'm getting Park Cemetery in Fairmount, Grant County, Indiana.
That's the one.
It's called Fairlawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it just says Park Cemetery. It doesn't say Fairlawn there.
So, anyway, I'd asked earlier where your favorite place was that you've investigated. I'm going to ask now, where would you really like to investigate?
Just kind of a personal dream of mine that I always wanted to go there. I'm not even so sure so much investigation, or if this is just I want to go on a vacation. But I want to go to the Winchester House.
The Winchester
Very
House,
cool.
California?
I know some
Yes.
great paranormal groups haven't actually gotten great stuff there, but that place is just straight up amazing, and I just kind of want to go there.
You just want to go through it and get lost in all them little rooms and
Right.
hallways.
I would say other than that, but like I'm from Louisiana, and I've been to the Myrtles plantation. That would have been my second. I'd love to go back there. It's great. But yeah, the Winchester home, I'd just love to get lost in there. I'd love to have like 6 hours by myself or with my team in that house. Yes, I think someone just wrote in the chat room, creepy yes, haunted no. I tend to actually agree with that, but I still want to go there.
And Nick, where would you like?
I'm going to say the St. Augustine Lighthouse in Florida. I think it's interesting that so many people go and end up seeing the dark figure on the stairs.
On the stairs.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind taking that on.
And I'd like to note for the record, my boss said she'd like to go to Lizzie Borden's house, so there you go.
She probably just has an axe to grind.
You have
That was quick, Jeff. That's good.
Jeff is always quick.
Hey, you better watch yourself. She'll eat you up.
Jeff's in the pool. He doesn't care.
She's
Don't let him
boss
fool
for
you.
a reason. She's boss for a reason, I'll tell you that.
Well, she was one of the original hip hop artists where she just figured her parents were whacked.
Ah, funny.
Jeff's really in style tonight.
Well, I have a question.
I'm the youngest person here, aren't I? Jeez.
Go ahead.
I have a question for each of you guys. What's your favorite piece of equipment to take into a site?
Nick, why don't you go ahead first?
It's got to be the recorders, of course. I mean, you know, it's. I've gotten actually quite accustomed, kind of fond of the. We have an RF meter. I'm kind of fond of the RF meter because, you know, the EMF meter is fine and all, and it's interesting, and the K2 is good and all, but really the RF meter is more important to me because it actually helps me see when we're getting bombarded by microwaves or other type radio frequency signals, and which tends to skew things and make things go weird in investigations. So they're man-made signals. I like to know about them when they're happening, so I think it's an important tool. But in the end, I can't go without the recorders.
The RF meter also shows when the people on our team haven't turned off the cell phones like we've asked them to. Like, all right, who's getting a text? I see it. I would have to say the recorders, hands down, are the most important. But if I could only walk into a paranormal site with one thing, it would be a recorder. Absolutely, hands down.
If I go, I've always got to have two things: my recorder and a flashlight. Because I'm night blind, I can't see nothing in the dark. I'd end up tripping over something.
I think that goes without saying, yeah. But a recorder, definitely. Beyond that, I think an EMF meter, probably digital rather than a K2, would be helpful.
Yeah, I like my flashlight and my digital recorder, and I do have a K2 and an EMF meter, but every now and then I'll break them out, but usually it's just my recorder and the flashlight. I like to do EVP sessions. So, let's see. I've got another question here. Let's see. This one is from Charlie. And he wants to know if you've investigated any train tunnels.
Isn't that a bit Freudian? Oh, wait.
It could be a bit Freudian, yeah. I don't believe we have, to my knowledge. Again, the outside environment doesn't lend itself conclusively to scientific investigations, but I may be mistaken on that. Have we, Nick?
I will say we haven't. We have done a covered bridge in Claremont County, Ohio, and we have done a place that reminds me of a tunnel, which is what's called the underground church in Ohio.
You had that on your site also. I wanted to find out about that and find out what it was and what's some of the claims there.
The underground church has an interesting history. It was a community that was founded by the folks that believed in building a utopia, and unfortunately decided to make their village on the first level next to the Ohio River, which then of course flooded, and they were the urban legend is that the whole town got killed. That's not really what happened, obviously, but they did have this underground, what's called the underground church, and it literally is. You have to get on a ladder and climb down 20 feet down to this underground cavernous space that's like a big barrel vaulted room. Now, some of us think it's nothing more than just a place that they used to smoke the meats and store grains, etc., for the wintertime and the summertime. But there are those who think it was actually one of their churches where they met to try to escape persecution because of their beliefs. So a lot of different claims. It's called Utopia. It's actually called Utopia Church in Utopia, Ohio. So the claims are, of course, that people just see and hear things down there, but It's all folklorish as far as we're concerned. Although we've investigated it twice, and I will admit that while we were investigating it the first time, our founder Melinda did feel something, I think, touch her head or something like that. So she did have an odd experience while she was there.
Yeah, but that's all it is experiences. It doesn't count as evidence.
No evidence yet.
Well, you know it's coming up close to time for a break. However, let's see if we got another. Well, I think what we'll do is when we come back from break, we can start talking some about the different places that you guys have investigated, and find out a little about each one, what kind of evidence you got, and what's some of the claims in those places. And some of them is fairly well known, and others is probably just known more for around Ohio. But I think, has anybody got anything you want to shoot out there before we take another quick break?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had anybody call in. Let's get our first caller after the break. Who's it going to be? Come on, anybody. Let's get a caller.
You know, that's true. We haven't.
Give the phone number.
Yeah, I'd like some callers.
Yeah, I'll throw the phone number out there right after break. How's that sound? I don't want them calling during break, because no telling what'll happen, because I haven't never had a phone call come in, so we might get all kinds of bells and whistles, and I'd hate to do that on break. So we'll wait till after break.
Have it disconnect all of us? Or?
It might.
Okay, after break, we need our first caller. Let's go.
You never can tell. It just might happen. So.
I think I know somebody who's good for a call.
Oh, you do?
You know who you are.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And he's already threatening.
Sounds ominous.
How'd you know he, Henry? How'd you know?
I just figured it would be. Let's see if we've gotten any more other listeners yet tonight on here from around the world. And nope, we're still good with the same one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another quick break, and we will be back probably about I want to say about 7 minutes, something like that. And till then, you're listening to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network, and we shall return in just a few minutes, so stay tuned.
So whether you're a plumber or just another axe-throwing dragon, ParaX is your source for everything paranormal.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network with Henry Foister, Craig Rupp, and Jeffrey Gould. And our guests tonight are from S.O.A.R. I don't know why I got feedback then, but I did get some. So with that, though, I want to welcome Nick Sakelos and Matt Hoskins back in.
Thank you.
And
wow, that's usually what I say. And everyone knows it too. That's what's so funny.
That's true. But I guess what we want to do is, do you guys have any other questions coming from the chat room yet?
Do we have any callers?
No. Callers, yes. We want callers. Who's going to be the first caller?
Callers. Do you guys know what the number is?
I had it written down about a week ago.
And
remind me, Henry.
Okay, it's 513-988-8055. So, with that, let's talk about some of the different places where you guys has been to. I know you was talking about the Prospect Place. I guess because we have already talked about that, let's jump over to another one that probably a lot of people don't know about, and that's Spring Grove Cemetery. Have you guys been down there?
You can't.
You can't go down there anymore, or?
I don't know if you can ever go in there. It's not allowed.
Oh, is that right?
I mean, yes, you can go in there to see the cemetery, but you can't.
You can't go
investigate
in there.
No, they absolutely don't allow that.
Well, is there,
Even during the day? I mean, you can't just walk around like with cameras or a recorder out or something?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you absolutely could, but I mean, in terms of, well, for one thing, we always say in our group we have to be invited somewhere to go somewhere to officially investigate. But yes, you could bring a recorder and walk around during the daytime in Spring Grove. And paranormal aside, you should go there. It's a wonderful, beautiful place. But they do not allow any official paranormal investigations whatsoever of that place.
What about the Snow Hill Country Club? Is that a place you guys are allowed to talk about? I saw that on your website.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I'll finish up with Spring Grove first. I can tell you two things. One, my family plots are there, so I'm there a lot. And I can tell you that I did have one interesting experience there where I had a very odd scent, and it wasn't a scent that came from a flower or a bush or a blossoming bush. It was just a very sweet smell that was coming along one of the lakes or ponds that are in there. Never could find the source of the smell. And I can also tell you that they do have walking tours that they give in the summertime. And so it's one of the few times you can get in the cemetery late at night, as late as 9 o'clock at night. And so you can wander off a little bit and take pictures and do things on those events. I have done that as well. So.
And it's great. If you can get onto one of these tours or even just go there, it's absolutely beautiful. I have been there many, many times. It's really great. But yeah, in terms of paranormal, you're going to be kind of out of luck there. And also, I would say these things like the strange smells. That's the problem with an outdoor cemetery is there's no way to track down a strange smell outdoors.
Right. So on to Snow Hill. Snow Hill's a very interesting place. It's so interesting to the paranormal community that there was actually a trio of paranormalists that stayed there full time to investigate and address the issues that were in that building. Or that are in that building. One of the ghosts, unfortunately, is a bit of what they call spook nasty, because spook nasty can be a bit nasty. Uses abusive language and other things.
Sounds like some of the offices I've worked in.
I will actually say I know. I spent a weekend there, and I spent a weekend there with another guy named Jerry Bickdanver, and we caught an EVP, and we couldn't make any sense of it, and it just sounded kind of like gibberish. We didn't know what it was, but it was clearly another voice. And after a while talking, we thought, could this be Native American? And it did sound like that, and we actually eventually figured out that it was Shawnee, and it was saying, "Please leave."
I love Shawnee Smith in the Saw movies. Oh, wait. No, that's the wrong Shawnee actor.
Shawnee Indians.
And there are a couple stories of Indian EVPs being captured in the bar area. The lower half of Snow Hill was actually a men's country club, and so there's a spirit that lives in the men's locker room.
Hello.
hello?
Hi, this is Melinda from SOAR.
Yes. Hold on just a minute. Let me see if I can add you into the conference here.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I don't think you're on there yet. Let me see. Since I'm new at trying to do this.
I actually just heard it come through the speaker.
Oh, did you? Well, the others are kind of like on hold right now, so.
Oh, okay.
All right, let me do it like this. Well, I don't know why it's not working. I guess I'm going to have to really learn how to do this, isn't I?
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
I'm back.
Hello.
Are you back?
Yep. Sorry.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, everybody's still on there, but
Yep.
I can't seem to get her added over into the conference call. Let's see if that did. Yes. Melinda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, boss lady.
Hey, late. Hi, Melinda.
Welcome to the show, Melinda.
It only took me a while, but I got it done.
What's up?
Oh, wait a minute. Melinda,
Oh, Melinda, you need to turn down the.
go to the bottom
Melinda, you need to turn down the radio. chat room
under the
thing.
chat screen. Turn off the sound in the chat room.
Okay, I turned it off. Is that better?
That's better. Now there's no feedback.
Much better.
All right. Well, welcome, Melinda. Glad you're here.
Thank you. I thought I would call and harass you guys for a few minutes.
Well, very good.
She's just checking
Welcome,
up on
Melinda.
us. That's all. She's just checking up on us.
Talk about Snow Hill.
Yes, Snow Hill Country Club, one of my favorite places. I had the opportunity to spend the night there just with one other person and actually had some experiences that were interesting. I was in the restroom and I heard a knock at the door. So at the door, there was no one there. And I know for a fact there was no one else in the building. So that was pretty cool. Went to my room and I could hear my glass moving next to the side of the bed. So that was freaky. That particular night, we had a lot of things happen. It seemed like the room got darker, and there was some provoking going on from another group that was there. So overall, it was just a really freaky experience. And I did have a disembodied voice talk to me.
Always fun.
Were you able to
Wait,
capture
what
that on
does the voice
EVP
say?
or?
Actually, no, not on that one. The one at Prospect Place I did, though. I should have sent that one to you guys.
Well, we do have, I've got like 3 others that Matt had already sent me, and we'll be playing those in just a little bit. I'm not sure what places you guys were at for them, but he'll be able to, when I get ready to play them, he can give us all the details on them.
Okay, great. I love
got all the
details.
details on that.
Now, there's some other places you guys had on there, and we can go ahead and find a little bit about them. You had one in there called the Menace in Milford. What is that?
That was a private case that we did. We actually did 2 apartments in the same apartment complex. One girl was seeing a black shadow peer around the corner at her when she would lay in her bed at night. She would hear scratching on the walls. Her child was scared to sleep in his room, and she was just so upset, so she had us come out. And then one of her neighbors also believed that there was an entity in her house. She had seen a man in a flannel shirt walk through the wall, and her cats would always act strange, like they were looking at something or run away, so we investigated her place as well.
Now, I do want to remind everybody, if you'd like to send a question in for our guest tonight, you can send it to myself or Jeff or Craig, and we'll get those right over asked of the guests just as soon as they come in. So what did you guys find there at the places that you did?
We did collect a few EVPs. I do believe I sent one of them to you, or Matt did, so we'll be able to listen to that. And I'm not going to say, so that way everyone can kind of judge what it is.
You say you did send me that one, Matt?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got them.
Okay.
Yes, you've got them, and
Okay.
I'll point it out when it comes to it.
All right. Also, there's this other place that you had in there, Christopher's Bed and Breakfast,
Yes,
and that's in Bellevue, Kentucky.
that is correct. Fantastic place. Used to be a church, and they turned it into a bed and breakfast. We had several different experiences there, including we caught an orb-like form on a video next to this really creepy doll, which was scary all in itself. Excuse me. But there were some really good EVPs from that location. While we were there, there was a guest of the bed and breakfast that actually felt like she was being held down. So she had called for us, and we heard something, but we were at the other side of the building. She was totally upset and freaking out and told us she was held down, and so that was a very interesting experience.
Yeah, I hate spooky-looking dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, you and me both.
And clowns. And those little mask faces.
And clown dolls.
Oh, I can't stand them things. They're spooky looking. Yeah.
Yeah, that doll, we had high EMF spikes next to her. So we're like, maybe we should just film on the doll. And I'm glad we did, because that's where we caught this light orb move across the screen towards the doll. And it wasn't a bug, and it wasn't a flashlight. It forms and shoots across the screen.
Now, you guys went to another place that I've been to quite a few times, but not as an investigator. I've just been there to sightsee, you might say, and that's the Loveland Castle.
Yes, we did. Nick, do you want to talk about Loveland Castle?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Oh, I can do it. Well, also, I've been to Loveland Castle many times. It's a great place. You should go. I've actually trained there. I don't know. I've never personally ever experienced anything there. I can't speak for Melinda, though, because that was before my time.
I experienced nothing inside the building. We went the hottest day of the year. It was like 98 degrees. But outside, we did notice some shadows out in the garden area. And so that was interesting.
I would say from a skeptic's point of view that there's a lot of stories about Loveland Castle, excuse me, that have been specifically created and spread forth by the staff of Loveland Castle that are not accurate. For example, they have a large back throne chair in their main reception area that they claim that the guy who built the castle bought from Europe, and it is an actual throne chair and it is supposed to be haunted. Well, if you do a little bit of record searching, you find out that it was bought from a Baptist church member who built it in the 1960s. So from a skeptical point of view, they really do like the image of them being haunted, and they have spread that forth a bit. Not to say it isn't haunted, but they have put forth a lot of stories that aren't exactly accurate.
Yeah.
Now
Go ahead.
Oh, the Mansfield Reformatory. I've always been fascinated by that place. Can I get a great story from each one of you guys, a personal experience that you had while you were there?
Well, it wasn't quite personal experience, but while I was there, we chased knockings, like a sound around the entire place the entire time I was there. This wasn't technically a SOAR investigation, but it was kind of a thing I had done on the weekend. And an EVP I got was basically a man screaming, very loud. It almost broke my recorder in a sense. Very loud, very angry sounding screaming in a part of a building I know for a fact that no one was in.
I know a lot of private residences, the people doesn't want anything said about them. But do you have a private residence that you've been to that was really real active?
Well, I know I can again tell a personal story of the house in Middletown I saw that was basically their complaints were that their kitchen drawers and cabinets were opening. They woke up one morning and found every towel in their bathroom stacked neatly on top of each other in the middle of the floor, and they were all soaking wet, but the floor around it was dry. When I was there with the team, we heard knockings, bangings, and I actually was at one point we were focusing on this closet where a little girl was supposed to come out of. And we had all our cameras pointed on the closet, and we were all kind of sitting there. And I was actually there with Jeff Morris. And Jeff said he felt something in his arm, so we were all looking over at him, looking at his arm. And I looked up, and directly in front of me was a doorway. And standing in the doorway was a man wearing blue jeans, white T-shirt. He was about 5'9", 5'10", dark hair, dark eyes, Caucasian. And then he vanished. So I screamed like a girl. I jump up. I have this on tape. I scream like a girl, jump up, try and run into the room where he was in. However, I trip and sprain my ankle. And in the process of doing that, right next to the doorway is a set of stairs, which I proceeded to tumble down head first, which was slightly embarrassing. I'm sad I kind of related that story. But anyways, getting into the room where this person was, Jeff broke out an EMF meter, and the reading was 20. Now, the base reading for the room had been 0.6. So 20 is a significant spike. And then as we're literally watching the EMF meter, it goes down from 20 to 17 to 14, and then 11, 8, and then it eventually goes down to 0.6. That's been my coolest, hands-down experience in a private residence of all time.
And what was the claims in that place, other than where you had that high spike at?
Well, they claimed that their cabinets would open and close. They claimed that their the towels in their bathroom would be stacked up when they woke up in the morning, stacked on top of each other. They had claimed that their coffee table would move literally across the room, not a couple feet or not, a little bit. It would literally move across the room. And the problem we were having with the place is the client's son unfortunately committed suicide in the house, as well as the previous owner had also died in the home. And as well as we were talking about other sources of paranormal activity in the room, they said, well, our cousin who lived next door also committed suicide. And I made a comment like, oh, well, where, is he buried? Is he in the cemetery up the road? And they said, no, he's right over there on the coffee table. And sure enough, there was a little jar, and cremated. I lifted up, and oh yeah, there he is. And so we were kind of like, well, we were trying to figure out where it could come from, but that hands down has been the best private residence story I've ever had. I don't know about the other people.
Nick?
I'm going to have to say that it's not so much a private residence anymore. It's now a bed and breakfast in New Richmond. Unfortunately closed at this time, it appears, but it actually was our headquarters for a short time as well. It's a place where we had quite a few experiences. And I guess what I like about the place is that historically it's very interesting. It sits right next to where there was a major battle that occurred in the county, which had nothing to do with the Civil War, by the way. It was actually a county civil war of sorts, as they were fighting over who was going to be the county seat. But in this building, the building's interesting for me because it has issues. It has EMF issues, and so in certain parts of the house you have high EMF areas, and and I'm always intrigued by how people respond to high EMFs. But the stories of the building are interesting because it's all anecdotal. We haven't, but it's anecdotal by people who have been there and by people of our own club actually. So some of the anecdotal evidence was that they had a carpet down in the first floor bedroom, and a guest would stay there on a regular basis and would always complain because when they wake up in the morning, it was a fringed carpet, and the edge of the fringe would always get curled under each night. And so it was driving crazy. Wake up in the morning and the carpet would be curled under. And they actually tried putting a cooler, like an ice cooler, ice chest on it, and still in the morning it would still be curled under. And so you have stories like that. One of our members were spending the night there, heard noises in the closet and heard noises in the hallway. Scared her to the point that she had to leave. She actually left in the middle of the night. Other towns would stay in the bar area and claim the bottles would slide across the bar, and they used to debate with me how that could possibly happen. Say, well, one of you have psychokinetic abilities, and they're like, no, we don't.
Right.
And like, maybe, anyways, so it's a fun place because of all the variety of activity that goes on there.
Wow.
And I think we have some EVPs from some of our best stuff too, as well. That's
true.
And I'd like to add that the activity usually would start around 2:30 a.m. It was like timed. Around there is like a party would go off. And one of our investigators was actually bending over, and she got touched on her rear. And I actually was laying in bed, and I heard the door handle turning like someone was trying to get in my room, and everyone had went to bed. It definitely has high EMF, so I actually felt sick there a few times. And another investigator, she had to leave because she got freaked out, and she also felt sick.
Now, Melinda, you're the founder of SOAR, and we didn't get to find out about you. What got you into the paranormal?
Well, my background, my family, they've been always kind of open-minded. I had some aunts that used to do palm reading and tarot cards, so I kind of grew up around that. But when I was 16 years old, I had an experience, and that experience totally changed my view on everything. And once I got a little bit older and braver, I decided to form the club, and basically we just got together, and Nick and I, we think alike, and decided to start the group.
And it's just it's went real well from there. I know Nick was saying you guys has done what 60 some or 70 investigations.
Yeah, we've done about 70 investigations. Mm-hmm. We average about one a month. Sometimes we can do two, and there's certain times of the year where it seems to get busier. And that's usually in the fall. We'll get more calls.
I just want to let everybody
Halloween
know.
Time.
Go ahead.
I was just saying that around Halloween it gets really crazy.
Yeah, it's more on
At least
people's
around here.
minds. Yeah, it's more on people's minds, and it's almost a psychological event. It's either you can take the skeptical approach and say, well, people are suggestive to the times, so they start making up stuff subconsciously, or you would say that people are more aware of the events happening because of the times.
Now I have a question for all of you. TV shows, your personal opinion.
I don't watch them.
Do you think they are helping or hindering everyday Joes like ourselves?
Boss, please let me answer this.
We're gonna argue. We're gonna argue on this one.
We argue.
I just want to say that I think it's helped increase paranormal awareness.
Yes.
Right. I agree on that. Absolutely.
Then go ahead, Matt, with what you were going to say.
I will agree that shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures have broadened and awareness to paranormal activity that wasn't there before. And to that, we all of us owe them a debt of gratitude. It's true. However, I believe that most of the shows out there are there for one reason and one reason alone, that is ratings. I believe this is evident in the first couple of seasons versus the last couple of seasons of Ghost Hunters. Whereas in the first couple of seasons, you notice they have many an episode that they go, we didn't find anything. I'm sorry for wasting your time, but it's this electrical disturbance, it's this foundation problem, it's bloody, whatever it is, but your house is not haunted. And there are many episodes like that, whereas you focus that now where every place is haunted, and it's just very rampant. And I believe that is because of the simple fact that haunted places draw more ratings.
True.
I believe there are several groups out there. I would even include TAPS in this to say that they do good investigation techniques, but they don't follow forward on it. And they've fallen into the trap of ratings, of having a successful TV show, of having fame, of having people looking up to them as the experts on how to do things. And it's not quite that simple. I know personally for me, I abhor the show Ghost Adventures. I really do. I think what they do is over the top and mostly for reactions. I don't actually watch the shows for two reasons. One, I do it all the time. I literally devote a unpaid giant chunk of my time to this. I don't want to go home and sit and watch other people do it and, quite frankly, make money on it. But it's just
and the fact that the time is all the fact that all the time is compressed, like everything is happening at once.
Right. We by the way, I will throw this out there as a bit of a plug. We are currently accepting members. You can go to SOARparanormal.com, but we do get people in, and we take them out, and they realize exactly the type of work that's put into it, and they're completely uninterested because of the shows, because they have editors, because
right.
people on the shows that go, oh, evidence review, it looks all fun. They compress it down and they put some cool music on it. That sounds great. When in reality, it's a 2.5 week process of boredom, especially
right. Listening to nothing.
One of these cases many cases we don't find anything. So you're talking about 2 weeks worth of evidence review of nothing, which means you spend 6 to 9 hours staring at an empty room. You spend 6 to 9 hours listening to an audio recorder of an empty room, and they get bored and they leave, which is great because that's not the type of person we want on our team. But it does color the way we do business, and I'll kind of leave it at that.
Well, that's the problem I find. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Matt, that just to find the one little 3-word EVP I got on the Queen Mary, I had to listen to like 4 hours of raw audio footage I'd recorded. Right, I was getting nothing. And
for every EVP we will play for you on the site or whatever, there's hours and hours and hours and hours of listening to nothing.
And that's what that's the falsehood they get off these shows. They don't understand that, we're trying to help them, but we go, it takes time to get an EVP. You got to listen to it, and they're calling the next day. What'd you get?
Right.
I've got like 10 hours to go yet. I'm sorry. I'll get back to you.
We tell our clients at the bare minimum 2 weeks before we get back to you. And it's just the way it is. I don't want to cut off all the time because I know we still got a couple EVPs to play.
Right. We're going to go play those right now in just a second. Before we do get into those, though, I want to remind everybody that right after our show, coming up at 10 o'clock, you got Joe and Tara from Visions Magazine Radio. Stay tuned for their show. They have a great show. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and play the EVPs, talk about them for about 10 minutes. And then we're going to let S.O.A.R tell all about everything coming up for them and how you can go to their site and get in contact with them and all the other good stuff for that. So what we're going to do is I do have them right here, and I want to say this first one here is this the bedroom you stay in? Do you know that one? And I'll let you talk about it and lead it in.
That one was
this is actually
the Ross Gowdy house.
The where?
Yes, this is the Ross Gowdy Museum, which is down in New Richmond, which is actually where we do our public ghost hunts. And the question that's asked in the EVP is this the bedroom you stay in?
Is this the bedroom you stay in? All right. Listen and see if you can hear this.
The bedroom you stay in. Is this the bedroom where you stay?
Okay, you want to tell everybody about that one?
Yeah, she was asking the question, is that the bedroom, or is this the bedroom that you stay in? Because there's been a woman in white that has been known to go to different places in the house. So the investigator asked the question, and the EVP, from what we heard, says, but I don't.
And,
so as she doesn't stay in that room.
And then you hear a bunch of thumping. Did you hear that at the time, or you just caught that on tape?
We just caught that on tape.
Okay, I'm going to play it again for you. It'll be right after they say, is this the room you stay in? You'll hear them say, but I don't, and then you'll hear a bunch of thumping.
The bedroom you stay in. Is this the bedroom where you stay?
Now, did you guys have any idea of what caused the thumping, or what that was?
We actually were able to debunk the thumping as the floor moving. However, there was no one moving at the time to make that sound. So on other portions of the tape, we could correspond someone walking over the floor and hearing that thumping sound. However, at this particular time during the EVP, there was no one walking around.
But you did catch, but I don't.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't.
But I don't.
But
and we do know, according to the Historical Society, that bedroom actually was not a bedroom previously. It was the back part of the house, perhaps a kitchen at one time. It wasn't a bedroom.
Okay. This next one we have in here is Katie's. Can you please tell us your name?
Yeah, and this is actually at our Milford investigation.
Okay. Listen to this one real close.
Can you please tell us your name?
Now that was real clear, and it was right after you said, "Can you tell us your name?" It was real quick.
Yeah, it's literally right after, if you want to play it again.
Right, and it's called Mia. That's what she says her name is. So listen again.
Can you please tell us your name?
So did you have any background on if there was somebody there by the name Mia or anything about it?
The client actually told me that she knew a girl at one time. Her name was Mia. And she was a girl into witchcraft, and she scared the heck out of her. And she said she thought it had something to do with her. I couldn't find any historical documentation for anyone with the name of Mia, but it was strange.
Yeah, but that was a good EVP. It was real clear. So
yes,
yeah.
We were really excited about that because you never get names when you ask those kind of questions, and to actually get a name, that was so exciting for us.
This next one here, the last one I should say, is now you feel that we're alone.
Yes, and this is at the Christopher's Bed and Breakfast we were talking about earlier.
Okay. I'll play this one for you and listen to it real quick, and then he can explain it again before I do it a second time.
Oh, now you're filming your own.
So what you hear is there are only 2 women in the room. So the only people in the room are both female, and the only thing they say is we say now, what they say, you'll feel that we're alone. Right. That's it. Everything else after that, and it almost sounds like another person in the room.
Well, it said
is not us.
Well, it said beautiful and woohoo.
Yep.
Right after they said that. So listen again. See if you can hear the beautiful and then the woohoo.
Yeah, the only thing we'll say is you'll feel like we're alone.
Oh, now you're filming your own.
Okay. Now I have another.
We call him the pervy ghost.
I have another call coming in, and I'm going to see if I can answer this one this time. So you guys can go ahead and just keep talking. We'll see what happens here.
Yes. I have a question. It's a little bit of a reversal, too. Mine is not so much of an EVP, but about a response to a command when you have a spirit. I've been receptive all my life, and it comes from my father's side of the family, but we have quite a few spirits that live in my parents' house, but they've never been ugly or mean or whatever. But anyway, every time they do something to the home, it was built in the 20s, a beautiful house, but every time they do something to it, there's either an odor or a I guess you would call it a vapor, or there's some kind of activity. Several times there's been activity where we've been sitting in the kitchen and someone has actually taken the faucet. You know, we've been sitting there. Nobody's touched the faucet. The faucet has actually moved on its own, I mean, in a significant manner, turned on the water, and my parents have said, Minnie, stop that, turn it back off. And the faucet has moved all the way back and turned off. So it's responding to a name that we know that person lived and died in that house. What about that?
Hold on just a second. I'm trying to get everything added into the conference, and I don't know why it's not working that way. Did you guys get that?
No, we were deaf. We were silent.
We were silent. Sorry.
Yeah, we only just popped back in.
Okay, hold on here. Let's see if I can get this added to the conference in.
I have turned you down.
Hey, there she is.
All right, there you go. All right, now you're on. See if you can ask that question again now.
Okay. I have spirits. My parents have spirits in their house. Several. They do everything from call names to do vapors and have smells when they do something to the house. It's a house that was built in the 20s. Beautiful home. One thing that it does, they have had a reverse response. Instead of having an EVP, at one point, well, it's happened more than once. We've all been sitting in the kitchen. The faucet has moved. The water has turned on, and my mother or my father, either one, has said, Minnie, turn off the water. Turn that faucet off. And that's someone who has lived and died in the home that we knew, that we were very close to. And the faucet has moved and turned back off. And that was while we were, like I said, doing some sort of renovation of some sort. And it did what we asked it to do, responding to a name. How do you feel about that?
Well, I would tell you, as a skeptic, the first thing that water pressure can make faucets turn on. But the mere fact that you said, hey, go ahead and turn that off, and it did, is really something.
I'm sorry?
I would say that water pressure in and of itself can actually make faucets turn on, especially in older homes. But the fact that you say, hey, Minnie, could you please turn that off? And it went ahead and turned it off is really something. Very well could be paranormal.
Yeah, and it's happened several times. And not only that, anytime that we weren't doing anything with the water. And anytime we do anything, like the last time we did anything with something, I think the last time was with the woodwork. There was a mist. My son at 2.5, when he really wasn't being able to really put a whole lot of words together or make up anything, he would tell my mother that there's a dark man. There's a fireplace. A dark man went into the fireplace. When I was a teenager, there was a man that called my name. My mother and I walked into the same room, into the parlor of the house. And my mother said, do you have a friend over? And I said, no, I don't. I thought you had somebody here. I didn't recognize the voice. She didn't recognize the voice. There was no one in the parlor. It just goes on at that house.
Yeah,
and,
no, it sounds like it. And it would sound like, there are many great groups in Tennessee, and it might be worth having someone come in and take a look.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that at some point. And then at the house I live in here as well, and it's 300 miles away, I have people, it sounds like men. Of course, this is a Civil War area, but everybody in this area lives in Civil War area property. But walk up and down the hall. My dog, who's a Shih Tzu, he sits in one specific spot in the corner between the front door and the hallway. And he will sit there, and there's one specific spot. He's never had a accident or anything in that spot, he will sit there. He'll watch the front door. He will watch it, and he will watch people. What it looks like watching people come in. Sometimes he'll look up at like they're speaking to him, and then he'll watch them walk down the hall. At times, I'll wake up. If I wake up a little later in the morning, I don't work, and I'll hear people walking down the hall, and he'll be watching. He'll be watching them walk. I have all kinds of things happen, but I'm very sensitive. So it's just a very unusual thing. But we have a good time with it. I mean, there's nothing that's happened that's been bad.
Right.
Well, that's really...
Except plates being thrown at me one time when I was 14. But nothing broke but one thing. So.
See, I always think the important thing about all this is that your peace of mind, that you don't feel threatened, that you don't feel angered, that you don't feel like there's something out to get you. And that's...
No.
That's
well,
always,
I'm very faithful. I'm very faithful in my Christianity, but I study theology, and I'm very although I'm a faithful Christian, I do study theology, and I'm not afraid of being open with people about how they feel and what they think. So.
Very good.
I think that's important.
I want to appreciate you for calling, and thank you. Our time, unfortunately, is really running short.
Yes, I didn't mean to keep you.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Thank you for
You're
listening.
fine. Appreciate you calling in.
Thank you
I want to thank you for doing that. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. You have a good night, and thank you for your show. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Guys, time has just flown right on by here. And
it certainly has.
What I'm going to do is go ahead and let you guys real quick,
Please enjoy the music while your party is reached.
Wrong.
Nice.
I clicked on the wrong thing. No, it's okay. Go ahead. We're good.
Skype ghosts.
Yeah, go ahead and real quick, tell how you can be reached and everything.
Well, the main way we can be reached is at www.SOARparanormal.com. We accept emails. We are currently accepting members if you live in the Southern Ohio area and can make investigations and a monthly meeting. We would love to talk to you. There is an application form off our members page. If you have any questions or concerns, comments, anything, they can be directed either through the SOAR Paranormal page or at myself at Matt H. at SOARparanormal.com. We do want to say thank you so much for having us on a show. This has been one of the absolute blast shows we've been on.
Well, good.
We absolutely enjoyed ourselves. Please have us back again, and we'd love to come back.
And we're going to jump off, but I want you guys to stay on. We'll talk with you right after we get off. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight from around
Thanks,
the world.
Everyone.
And what we're going to do is let you know that next week we have Kat Klockow on. She's got a book called Haunted Hoosier Halls. So with that, stay tuned for Joe and Tara. We are signing off. Good night for the Paranormal View.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Paranormal View on the ParaX Radio Network. Join us again next week at the same time for more of the Paranormal View.